Yo, what's good, y'all, man? It's Max49. Welcome back to another episode of Drum Theory. This is episode 2. We got Southside and 808 Mafia. Class is now in session. So, y'all wanted it. Here it is. So, for the Southside tutorial or the video today, it's not going to be too long. It's going to be actually a little short.
Stop the cap!
Because Southside's drum placement isn't like too crazy. Not saying his drums are trash, but his drums are hard. So the main point of this video will be the mixing. So let's just get straight into it. I got this one beat pulled up called Donald Tree. It was on my Mac, so I had to convert it over to my Windows, and I lost the sample. So I'll just be playing the drums for now. I'll play the beat at the end. Let's get straight into the drums. Simple, hard Southside type beat here, man. Let's get straight into the first thing, which is the clap. Simple 8-bar pattern. I didn't do anything with the clap. It's just a Luger slap. And most of these drums were from the Section 8 and Chi-Chi drum kit I have. You could find it on Reddit or something. I wanted to showcase this beat especially because it has a lot of weird mixing that I did before, and it makes the drums actually hit harder. I don't know if y'all can tell, but the 808. I'll share some sauce on the 808 when I get to it, but that hits. So for the clap, all I did was turn it to mono and turn some of the high end down, because some of these Luger slap claps have too much high end in it, so sometimes you want to turn that down. And mono is just self-explanatory. Turning all your drums to mono, I don't know what it does, but it adds some sort of feel to it. I kind of like range in between doing mono and doing regular, so I don't know really what the difference is, but try it sometime. You may end up with a hard banger. Next, I got this hi-hat with some looperator on it. Now, Southside doesn't necessarily use too much effects on his hi-hats, but I added looperator because that's my little own sauce. If you don't have looperator, you need to get it because it adds some crazy bounce to your hi-hats. For example, you can do forward, reverse, a bunch of these like tape stops, these effects, these reverbs at the end. If you don't do too much with it, you could end up with like a bouncy beat with like some cool filters, some cool reverses, and all that type of stuff. And make sure to place the presets and effects on the right spaces for the hi-hats. So in my Section 8 video, I said about the spaces, and this is what Southside does as well. He doesn't go all the way, sometimes full to 8 bars, but he's very versatile. So I would add some spaces right here, and then a low hat with some looperator presets on it to make a tape stop effect. That's some sauce right there. I like to do that a lot. Doing the tape stop effect leads in nicely into the other half of the whole bar. And then these hi-hats, like, I don't know what to call these high range hats right here. These are pretty nice when you're trying to add some uniqueness to your hi-hats. Adding the low hats right here and these high range hi-hats right there, they could just add some nice uniqueness. So I didn't go too crazy on the hi-hats, man, because Southside usually does like crazy rolls like Pyrex and all them. But for this beat, like I said, this is going to be the mixing part, and the next part is going to be crazy, like the hi-hats on the drums and stuff. Didn't do anything to the hi-hat except add this little preset. I think I showed you in my last video, but if I didn't, here's what it is. Just taking the low frequencies out and just turning down the high end just a little bit. Before we get into the 808s, I'm just going to play the snares and the open hats. So the open hat plays fairly throughout the whole thing. This is why I like to take it out most of the whole beat, because it might just get repetitive. But 808 Mafia and Southside has a tendency for like putting the open hat just not at one bar, but either a bunch throughout the whole bar, like this. Boom, boom, space, boom. Also, adding room in between your beats is the most essential part of making the whole beat. To wrap up this beat, I want to show y'all heard the 808s in the beginning of it. There's no presets on it. I have no 808 presets or anything. This is all that I do to my 808s. If you want your drums to hit, I'm going to show you the 808. This is all the way turned to mono, and I'll show you the master right after. But this is what I did to make this 808 hit so hard right here. Explaining the pattern, man. Just a bouncy pattern. Let me play this with the hi-hat and the clap. Boom, boom, boom. So playing this like that, boom, 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 add some crazy bounce to it. Like instead of just doing this, like adding some bounce right here. It's like a bomb that's dropping like boom, boom, boom as everything plays out and it has some space, and then at the end it goes down. The 808 isn't relieving too much room, but that's why the drums, the other drums like the hi-hats and the claps and the snares aren't going too crazy, because it leaves room for the 808 to hit and be up front. So if you want the 808 to really be up front and really hit, here's all you have to do. Velocity all the way up, and like I said, this is a regular spin. This is not altered or anything. So you see this waveform right here, all you have to do is boost it to 10% and put the EQ balance to 55%. That's all you really have to do, just to get your 808 to hit. You see I turn it all the way down. If I turn it up, too distorted. So when you do have a distorted 808, just turn it down. That way your 808's going to be up front. Everybody's going to hear and be like, wow, the 808's is going to go crazy in your car. So I hope y'all learned something from that, man. The 808 tip, you know, putting the EQ and the boost. Not too many people just use the EQ. The boost is cool, but the EQ, that 55%, really turns the range up. For the master, I think I've already showed y'all this. Just a little bit of EQ with the high end fairly up, but just a little up, right? A soft clipper. Post is right here. The threshold isn't all the way down. -19. Lastly, the fruity limiter. I don't know if I have a limiter on my last beat, but what the limiter does, I think the gain is up. That's why the gain is at 3 dB. So just to make the whole beat loud, like this whole drum selection is loud. So this is all that you have to do. Turn the low shelf down a little bit to have your beat slap just a little more. I don't know how that works, but it works. And just turn the high end up, the high shelf, whatever you want to call it. And this is the whole beat. Let me get it real quick. Shout out Deuce and Marshak for the loop too, man. Appreciate y'all. Alright, y'all, we got the second beat. For this beat, the drums are actually doing a lot when it comes to the hi-hats, so let's get straight into it. Okay, so that's a lot. Let me get into the hi-hats. Okay, man, yeah, I don't know if this is a MIDI, but Southside has a tendency to go crazy on the hi-hats when it comes, I would say, ethnic or super dark beats. It gives it that old 808 Mafia vibe. So let's see what I have to break down here. One hi-hat tip I can give you is between the bar right here when it comes to the third. When you do your hi-hats and you do your rolls, you're gonna have them, you want them going down towards the end of the half of the bar. So let me explain. So you got this going up, but then it's slowly coming down like stairs. It adds another lead into the other half of the bar, which is like the fifth, right? So one tip I could give y'all for the hi-hats is definitely when you're doing your rolls, don't just have them in like one semitone. Don't just have them in one note. You want to play with them as they're going down. Like how I tell y'all about the low hats, this is what you want to do all the time. Especially when like you're going into more rolls, you want to have one going down and then the next roll going even more down in semitone, and then roll right here. Especially when it comes to, so this is half the bar, right? The 1 through 5. So when we're coming to the 3 or nearing the 3 to 5, when we're nearing the end of the half bar, you want to take the rolls and make kind of like stairs. This is what 808 Mafia and Southside really does a lot. So when it's going into the other half of the bar, it's leading into like, it's just resetting. So it's like an ending. your leads and your ending when it comes to like snare rolls at the end of each bar, or hats at the end of each, like low hats and stair rolls. I'm gonna call them stair rolls at the end of each half bar, like this. All that. And that's one tip I could really give you for the hi-hats. Have some rolls in the right places. If you want to go crazy like these, you can. Just make sure your hat isn't too loud like this. That be just, what I do is turn the out knob a little bit, so there isn't that much like, you know, ending at it. It has too much high end, if I'm being honest, so turn that out knob out. So for this beat, I use the snare instead of a clap, and the snare repeats just throughout the whole bar, just like boom, boom, boom. Instead of just a regular 8-bar pattern, just pushing it up a bit, boom, boom, boom. Because you would usually put your counter snare right there. Instead, you want to do that with the main snare. I'll have just one snare right here. Like this counter snare, like, so this counter snare right here would only play in like one in each half bar, so like twice in the whole bar. And it's because this would layer on top of the clout sizzle perk to add some more variance to it. So just like this comes your counter snare. The clout sizzle perk, little perk that I did. I pitched it all the way down. Here's what it sounds like regular. So this is from the, you know, cloud song, and I pitched it down to add some uniqueness. Definitely play with the drums, pitch, boost, EQ, all that. Play with your drums, you know. Don't do too much to it, but if you wanna, like, you'll never create any new sounds. You'll never find any new sounds if you just keep using the same ones over and over and over again. Now this is hard. I just pitched it down, that's all I did, so now I found a little new technique. Lastly, we got the hard-hitting 808. Now I think I did the same thing for this 808. Yep, exactly. Boost, EQ, balance, boost 10%, volume all the way down to 40%. I pitched it down because it was a little bit detuned, but here's what the 808 is. So I didn't really talk about the 808 rolls in my last video. So as you see here, we don't have the same pattern as the last beat. We have, you know, boom, space, boom, boom. This beat is more bouncier in my opinion. One takeaway I can give y'all is these rolls at the end. What I was telling y'all about like the snare rolls and the hi-hats at the end of each bar. So for example, let's play it with the hi-hat. And as the hi-hat is going down, the snare rolls, we have and that's going down, and that is correlating with the hi-hat, and that's correlating with everything, all the drums, you know, everything is just matching up. It's like what I was saying from my last Section 8 cheat sheet video, turning the drums, turning the steps to like 1/3 beat, adding the 808 to 1/3 and the hi-hat to 1/3, and like having them hit at each time is correlating with each other. If it sounds confusing, go back and watch that last video, you understand what I'm talking about. But this is basically the same. Also, don't keep your 808s in like the same octave. Most of the time you want to have like different like high pitch 808s like this. And add these like these last rolls. Don't put these rolls in like the middle. You can like this, like for you can do that, but I would rather do that at the end so it just leads back into the other half of the bar. That is about it for the 808s. Just to have some variance. You don't want to have everything repeat. Just don't do that at the final part of the bar. Everything else self-explanatory. Open hat. I said it's not just playing. It's playing throughout the whole thing. The open hat here is more. It comes up more than the last piece. Boom, boom. Open hats are essential when it comes to these type beats. So I'm gonna play this beat. Drum theory, man, I'm throwing some arrangement tips. Sometimes when I'm going into another bar, I like to take out this part. So I'll like take out 1, 2, and then right when it hits on the first clap or snare, it hits right there, it comes back in. So that's what I like to do for most of the time. I did it right here too. Don't do it all the time, but this is some arrangement. And also for the open hat, when the chorus played, the open hat isn't there in the first part, but then it comes back to the second part. Just to have it not be too repetitive. You want to have some uniqueness in your beats. It plays at the end of that bar. And then also, just for a little bit of a new entrance to a chorus, when this is going back into the chorus here, the ending is going to be taken off just by a little bit. So we're going to do 1, 2. You can have a drop, and I will only have the hi-hat playing right there, so the rolls will go right back into it. You know, sometimes I would take out the whole bar too and just have the half of it there. That's just some quick arrangement tips to have your beats not be the same throughout the whole thing. Like I said, y'all, this is going to be a short video because Southside's drums are simple and straight to the point. I don't want to say simple. What if Southside watches this video and he comes at me, bro? That's like my fear. So I told y'all this video is going to be a little short. The drums are straight to the point, hard hitting, not too much going on, but everything is fit for a rapper to hop on it, like Offset, you know, Migos, Nardo, Wick, Future, anybody to get on there. So that's how you make the hard hitting drums. Spill some EQ sauce, boost, all that. So let me know what y'all want to see next, bro. I'm gonna do Wheezy next. And like I said, this series is gonna be a little short because drums can get repetitive, you know. Some things repeating, some things are the same. There's not too much going on here, but just for those who want to learn how to mix, and these are just the basics for how to make these 808 Mafia, Southside, Wheezy, Section 8, all those drum placements, all that stuff. Yeah, soon I'm gonna do a drum theory on me, you know what I'm saying, if we get there. So appreciate y'all for tuning in once again. I just dropped the Discord server too, y'all, so go tune in. It's gonna be down in the comments below. Go join that. Super Achievers Discord class is now in session. We always learning something. So I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.